All right, hello. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to score your entire ecosystem card. And so after going over this with Miss Farber, we were both kind of overwhelmed at first by looking at all the different scoring mechanisms that are in the game. But really, the easiest way to go about this is to just go one line at a time down the entire list. So I'm actually going to use this chance to show you how to score this card by going through all of the different parameters. All right, so like I said, the easiest way to go through is to start at the top. In this case, the bears. Each bear gets you 2 points for every bee or trout that it is touching. So for example, this bear gets 0 for the fox and the wolf, but it does get 2 points for the bee. This bear over here, however, will get 2 points for this bee, and for that trout. So my 6 points for this bear and 2 for this brings my total up to 8. For the bees, bees get you 3 points for each adjacent meadow. So this bee is touching, and remember that adjacent just means touching a flat side. This bee is touching one meadow, so it is worth 3 points. This bee is touching one meadow, so it is worth 3 points. So that brings my bee total up to 6 points. For my meadows, all right, connected meadows score 0, 3, 6, 10, and 15 points based on how many meadows are touching. So one meadow gets you 0 points. Two meadows that are touching get you 3. Three meadows, as I have right here, 3 meadows will get you 6 points. 4 and 5 get you more. So for me, I have 3 meadows that are touching, which is worth 6 points. Moving on down to the next on the list is going to be the trout. Trout get you 2 points for each adjacent dragonfly or stream. Now, in this case, my 2 trout that I have up here are not touching the dragonfly, so it is worth no points for the dragonfly, but they do gain points by being touching a stream. So in this case, this trout right here is going to be worth 2 points, and this trout right here is going to get 2 and 4. It does not get anything diagonal. Remember, it has to be touching a flat side. So in this case, I get 4 points, 2 points. My trout total is going to be 6. For the eagle, eagles get 2 points for each trout or rabbit within 2 spaces. So my eagle gets nothing down here. It does not get for these 2 spaces here. It does, however, get points for the trout and for the rabbit. So I get 2 points for touching the rabbit. I get 2 points for touching this trout. And the eagle also gets 2 points for being 1, 2 away from this one, bringing my eagle total up to 2, 4, 6 points. Rabbits are very easy to score, and they just get 1 point. So I have 1 rabbit, which means I get 1 point. Dragonflies can be a huge asset, and you actually get a total points based on how big the stream they are touching is. In my case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 streams all touching. So that makes my dragonfly worth 4 points. Next is going to be the fox. In this case, the fox is 3 points if it's not touching a bear or a wolf. Now, unfortunately, my fox is touching a bear, which does make my fox worth 0 points. Had that fox been somewhere else, it maybe could have been worth more points. Next is going to be the deer. In this case, you get 2 points for each row and column containing at least 1 deer. You don't get any extra points if there's more than 1 deer in that row or in that column. But what I found is the best way to score this is to just count 1 row at a time looking for deer, and then same with the columns at a time looking for deer. In this case, as I go across, no, I have no deer in this row, no deer in this row. I do have a deer in this row, so that gets me 2 points. And then I'll do the same for the columns. I have no deer in this column, no deer in this column, no deer in this column, but I do have a deer in this column, giving me another 2 points for a total of 4 points for the deer. Streams are based on whoever has the largest stream gets 8 points. The second largest stream would be worth 5 points. And you can tie for this. If there is a tie for the second largest stream, then you get 5 points each. In this case, if the person that I was going up against only had 1 or 2 streams, I would have 8 points for having the largest stream. I do want to point out that if any of your opponents have 0 streams, they do receive a 0 for the stream. All right. If I have the most and then no one else has a stream, everyone receives a 0. There is no second place for that. So saying that I have the largest stream, I'm going to say that I get 8 points. Moving on to the wolves, whoever has the most wolves scores 12 points. Whoever has the second most would score 8 points. And then whoever has the third most would score 4 points. Again, like the stream, if you have 0 wolves, then you score 0 points. Assuming that I have the most wolves with 2, I would get 12 points. Now, lastly, onto the diversity scoring. Diversity scoring could seem a little tricky at first, but it's actually very easy. You are simply going to go back and count how many zeros you have on your list. So as I count all the zeros on my list, I can tell that I have 1 0 right here with the foxes. So if I'm going to move that up closer, you can see here that I go through. I have 1 0 next to the foxes. So as I look at my diversity scoring, it says 6 or more zeros actually loses 5 points. 5 zeros would get you a 0, no gain, no loss. 4 zeros gets you a gain of 3 points. 3 zeros gets you a gain of 7 points. And 2 or less gets you a gain of 12 points. This would mean that because I have 1 0, I have 2, 1, or 0 zeros. I have the 2 or less. So I would get a benefit of 12 extra points. As I go through and I want to add up my score, I very simply just pull up a calculator and I would go through and add all my scores. So I have 8 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 more plus 1 plus 4 plus 0 plus 4 for my deer plus 8 for my streams and plus 12 for my wolves. Ending it up with a plus 12 for my diversity, that would bring my total to 73 points. I do want to point out that 73 is a very high score. This mat that I have laid out is probably one of the more optimal and high scoring layouts that I could think of. My first time playing it, I scored 57 points. I did have 3 zeros. I actually ended up not having any eagles, rabbits, or foxes. My wife, when she played, had 40 points because she had no bees, dragonflies, or wolves. So that gave me 12 points for having the wolves and gave her a 0. So sometimes having enough cards can be better than having nothing at all. And that's where that diversity scoring really comes into play at the end of the game. I hope you all had fun learning. I can't wait for you guys to play the game. Just remember that when you go to score, it is much easier to just score one line at a time for everyone. Score all the bears, then move on. Score all the bees, move on to the next. And it seems to be pretty easy. All right, you guys, that's all I have. If you wanted to look at a breakdown for an individual animal, please feel free to click on one of these 2 videos and have fun playing the game.